Hey there everyone, and welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. On today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Retro Shooter Kit and asking the question, is it still worth it in 2024? Let's find out right after this. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If this happens to be your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscription button, click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video, give this one a thumbs up, and leave a comment below if you want to be part of the conversation. So, for those of you who randomly clicked on this video and you're wondering, what the heck is a Retro Shooter Kit? Well, here it is. So this is the website retroshooter.com, and this company sells a light gun shooting kit that you can hook up to TV, monitor, even PC, and play old school light gun games. Now obviously the main draw of this kit are the two light guns it comes with. It comes with the two light guns and 4 IR sensors that you would put at the corners of your TV or monitor. I'll get into a little of that later on, but there's other things that you can get along with this, such as a console to hook everything up to that you can load up with games. This is based on the Pandora's Box. Now, Pandora's Box is a console kit that's been sold for a number of years that many people have used to play old school arcade and retro games. Now you can see there are also other accessories that you can get to go along with this, such as controllers. You've got a couple that are themed after old Nintendo Entertainment System style controllers. You've got a couple that are themed after original PlayStation controllers. And then you've got this extension hub here, which is mainly for hooking the guns up to, say, a PC instead of their Pandora's Box control box. And one of the reasons that the Pandora's Box system is so successful is because it's basically a plug-and-play console system. You hook it up to your TV, your monitor, whatever, and you're good to go. You've got several thousand games already built into the system, whether that is classic arcade games or classic retro console games. They're all built in and ready to go. And the Retro Shooter was no different from that. In fact, one of the big draws of it here, obviously the fact that it comes with the light guns, is that it had close to 100 light gun games built in and ready to play, again, across arcade and classic consoles. Now, unfortunately, that is no longer the case. The makers of Pandora's Box were recently sued by companies like SNK and forced to remove all of the games from their systems. You can see right on the Retro Shooter website that it says, due to IP laws, games not included. Now, this is especially unfortunate with the Retro Shooter kit because, like I said, it does take away the plug-and-play nature of this system. Yes, if you have access to ROMs, you can load them on here yourself and play. But that's going to require some knowledge on your part on how to do things like that. And the fact that this is a light gun based system came with close to 100 different light gun games, but those are the only ones that it says are able to play on this system. You can't just go out and find whatever light gun games you have and throw them on here. You can only use the ones that are listed to actually work with the Retro Shooter kit, so you've got to get very specific games. Now, at the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit more about that and some ways around that, but what I want to do now is just take a few minutes, do an unboxing, show you what comes in the kit, what the setup looks like, and what some of the games that used to come with it play, and finally, hopefully answer the question, is it still worth it? Is it something you should consider getting if you don't have one yet? So this is going to be the unboxing for the Retro Shooter with Pandora's Box. I ordered this back in mid-June. It's now mid-July when this finally came in. Unfortunately, the company that produces this, they did have a warehouse fire in June, and it delayed a lot of their shipments to have to get replacement parts and start putting things together again. Also, after I ordered this is when they made the announcement that the Pandora's Box that this comes with will no longer include games with the system. You're going to have to source and put your own games on that. So I will address that at a later time, either later in this video or another video. Haven't decided yet as I'm filming this. But for now, I just want to do an unboxing and show what's in this for those of you who haven't seen this at all or in a while. All right, so here we are opening the box and taking a look at everything that's in it. You can see right off the bat, you've got the two guns. You've got a blue one and a red one, and they are in two pieces. You have the front of the gun here and here for the two different colors. These are actually going to screw together. You can see there's a piece here that connects, and it just kind of goes like that. I will do that at a later time and show how that goes. But one thing that's interesting here is you see these two. You have these different colored ends for them. The two ends that are on this, you can see, have this orange coloring. I guess what you can do is you could probably screw that off and change it out with the, or, oh no, I'm sorry. You put this, like maybe this just screws on like this to it. I'm gonna say, I'm not totally sure what that's for. I'm gonna have to check that out. But there are two additional ends to this, one in blue and one in red. Here we have the IR sensors. You can see there are 4 of them. The original version of this that came out like a couple years ago only had 2 sensors. They've since changed that to 4 sensors to make the accuracy a little better with the system. Now there's another layer underneath this. Let me take this out and move it out of the way. All right, and here now we're getting into kind of the guts of the system. First off, you have the Pandora's box itself. And while there is an SD card in here, 64 gig, I don't know if you can see that. I don't think there's anything on that. I think that's just a blank SD card that you can now use to put your own games on. Again, I will check into some of that later. Here we have the power cord. Okay, so there's actually 2 power cords in here. I think one is for the Pandora's box and one is probably for this. Yeah, this is the Firebase. This is what's needed if you want to use the retro shooter guns with a PC instead of the Pandora's box. Now, this is an extra charge. I did actually decide to get this because it was slightly discounted if you bought the whole thing together, figuring if I decided at some point to just put this on a PC instead of using the Pandora's box, I would have this ready to go. And now, knowing what I know, that there are no games included anymore, I'm very glad that I went ahead and did this because it's something I might do at a later date. For now, I'm going to try to figure out what games I can get on to the retro shooter. Again, more on that later. But I think one of the saving grace possibly for the retro shooter going forward is having this and the ability to hook it up to a PC instead of the Pandora's box. Now there's also this little baggie of stuff. You can see the screws here. These are for putting the guns together. You've got all the cords that you need to hook up the sensors. They even give you a little screwdriver for everything, and the manual in there, which I will have to check out and figure some of this stuff out. Although, you know, watching some videos from Retro Shooter on how to do all of this, I have a pretty good idea of what to do, but I definitely want to see what this has to say. And then last but not least, you can see the 2 pedals for this as well, which are primarily there for games like Time Crisis, but, you know, figured they were fun to have to go with it. And there we go with the unboxing of the Retro Shooter Kit. All right, so the next step that I want to do is go ahead and put the guns together. I'm just going to do one. It's the same for the blue and the red one, just to show you. Again, you've got your baggie of screws here. You've got a screwdriver that it comes with, or you can use your own, and you've got the 2 halves of the gun. And you can see there is a little connector right there, and that one, and then the corresponding piece here. Now you want to make sure that you fit them together correctly. Looking at this, the top part of the gun, the orange part right here, the lens, should be facing the top part of the gun like so. And you just take this and connect it like this. Should just pop in nice and easy. And then the gun fits together like this. And then you just take the screws and screw it together like so. And there you have it, all ready to go. All right, so you can see here, I've got the retro shooter box set up. It's very easy setup. I'll just kind of go over it real quick. You can see the box here. First off, on the front, you've got your setups for the two guns, player 1 and player 2. You have the gun. The gun has it has one wire with 2 connections. You've got the USB for it, and this one here goes into the recoil. I have that unplugged for now so that the guns won't have their clack, clack, clack recoil while I'm playing, while I'm recording. But if you want that, you can plug that in. There are ways to change the settings for that with the gun itself, but I found the easiest thing, if you don't want the recoil at all, is just to leave it unplugged. And then there is this one here. This is for the pedal. Again, not necessary. Really, the only game that uses it for the gun games is Time Crisis, but you can use the pedal to reload in some of the games, so it's not so bad to have. And then the same thing here with the player 2 gun. Along the side here is the HDMI cable, which obviously goes to the TV, and power cable for the power cord. And then you see this white button here is your on-off switch. And then you see, for now, I've got a controller plugged into this. I did not buy this with any controllers because I have so many of these. So it was easy enough to just plug one of these in for now. That is the USB port back here. And then one other thing that I want to show real quick, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit more, is along the back here. And it's kind of tough to see. There, you see this button right here? This is your settings button. If you want to get into the main settings menu on this, you have to press this. I wish they had mapped that to something on the guns or on the controllers to make it a little easy to get to, but it is what it is. Now, of course, the other thing that you have to do is you have to set up the 4 sensors. You see 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these just get daisy chained together. They give you the cables for that. So as long as all 4 are connected to each other, that's fine. There is one cable that here, as you can see, there's one cable that has 2 extensions, one to each of the sensors, and it's USB. So you want to plug that into a USB port. Sorry, it's probably not that easy to see. You want to plug that into a USB port on the back of your TV, or maybe into an outlet or something. Retro Shooter does not recommend plugging into the USB port on the console for power. You might get away with it, but probably better if you've got an open USB port on your TV or something to just do it that way. All right, there we go. That's a look at unboxing the Retro Shooter kit and a little bit on setup, putting the guns together, how it looks once you've got it all set up. Now, the next thing that I want to do is show off a little bit of gameplay, some of the gun games, some of the regular games on it. But before I do that, I just have to touch on this real quick because, as I said earlier on, the Retro Shooter no longer comes with games pre-installed. They do give you a blank 64 gig SD card, but there's nothing on it. If you put that into your system, turn the system on, it will populate it with files needed for the Android subsystem on there, but it's not going to put any games on it. So the question then is, how do I have games to show you guys? Well, I don't want to get too far into that. I have to be very careful about how I say this, but I will say a couple of things to those of you who are considering getting this and want to know what you can do. Well, first off, you can always add, whatever games you want to it. Unfortunately, when it comes to the light gun games, you can only add the games that it says it actually works with. So if you want, say, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you've got to source the ROM for the actual arcade game and put that on there. If you want Time Crisis, it's the PlayStation version of that game, so you have to find that, you have to put it on there. So it's not as simple as just throwing whatever ROMs you want on there. But there are some things that you can do. Now, the first thing that I would recommend to anybody who's considering this is to join the retro shooter community on Facebook. So if you're going to pick up the Retro Shooter Kit, be sure to join the Retro Shooter community group on Facebook. It's a great resource for you if you're going to own this kit. If you're having issues with it, there are members who can help you out with that. There's even some members who might be able to help you source games for the Retro Shooter, whether that is the full games that used to come on the SD kit, or just other games that you can get. Possibly the ability to download those games somewhere, maybe even the ability to purchase a new SD card with the games fully loaded on it. Again, I'm not going to go into too much info on that. I have to be very careful about what I say here. All I will say for sure is go ahead, join the Retro Shooter community on Facebook, do some searching around on there, and you might find somebody who can help you out when it comes to games for the Retro Shooter Kit. So the other tip I will give you is this. When you purchase your Retro Shooter Kit, you're going to get several emails from Retro Shooter with your order number, tracking number, once they ship, things like that. You might want to go ahead and reach out to them through that email and see if there's anything Retro Shooter themselves can do regarding the games. They might even be able to help in some form. Again, not going to say too much, just throwing these out there as tips for you guys who are considering getting this now that there aren't any games coming loaded on the SD card that comes with the system. It doesn't mean there isn't a way to add games to it to play for yourself. So with that said, let's show off a little bit of gameplay from some games that should have come with your Retro Shooter Kit.
Action! Action!
Yeah, so you can see playing Revolution X. Revolution X was one of the latest games added the ability to play on this. Unfortunately, the sound is really low on this. I got to turn the volume up really high. I'm not even sure how well you guys can hear it. But it is a game that's playable.
Fighters ready. Engage.
And there you have it. That's a look at some of the games for the retro shooter. A couple of light gun games, a couple of console and arcade style games. So I said, if you can get your hands on the games that were meant to come on the SD card for the kit, you're going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5,000 games to play. Right around 100 of those are light gun games, obviously those being the big draw here for something called a retro shooter system. Let me take a minute and let me talk about the guns themselves. Now, the guns, I would say, are just okay. They do feel a little cheap, a little plasticky, but they do get the job done. Comes with the 4 IR sensors, and they do a decent job of tracking, although I did notice a few seconds lag in playing as I'm moving the gun. If I move the gun quickly back and forth across the screen, there was some noticeable lag, a few seconds, as the crosshair followed me back and forth. You can play with crosshairs on and off. I play with them on because I found it a little easier to play and I wanted to see how it reacted. And I did notice, like I said, with small movements, it follows pretty well, but with drastic movements back and forth, you can definitely notice it takes a few seconds to catch up to you. Now, in most games, that's fine, but any game that is going to require some really fast movement when playing, it could be a little bit of an issue. Now, I will say that it really didn't take away from my enjoyment of the games. I'm a huge fan of light gun games in general. I enjoy playing them in the arcade. I enjoyed playing them back on my Nintendo Entertainment System with the Zapper, on the PlayStation console with the Guncom. I've always enjoyed laser gun games, I should say. And this definitely hit that kind of nostalgia bug for me, remembering those games and getting to play them. Now, as for the rest of the games on this system, as I said, there's close to 5,000 games. You will definitely find some that you enjoy and some that you're going to pass right over, that's for sure, but it certainly gives you plenty to choose from. So what are my overall thoughts on the system, and is this something you should consider in 2024 if you haven't picked one up already? And the answer to that is going to be a hard maybe. And I know that's probably not what you expect to hear from a video like this. You want a definitive yes or no, but the answer really is maybe, and it's really going to depend on you and your level of technical know-how. Now, if you're looking for a ready-to-go, out-of-the-box, plug-and-play system with a ton of games on it that you can just plug in and go, this is probably something you should skip. You know, had this been a couple of months ago when it was coming fully loaded with all the games, I would say absolutely pick it up, plug and play, ready to go, you'll be good. But the fact that it doesn't come with the games preloaded has to change my assessment on that. And like I said, if you're not technically savvy and you're just looking for something you can plug into your TV, turn it on, and you're ready to play, this is not going to be for you, and you should definitely skip it. However, if you've got the technical know-how to source the games, to figure out, how to get them on an SD card, and all of that kind of stuff, then this is something you should still consider picking up. It's really not going to be any different than it was a couple of months ago when it was coming with the games. Like I said, as long as you can get access to the games in other ways, then it's still worthwhile. Now, for those of you who are considering maybe hooking this up to a PC, that's a different story, because I'm going to assume you've already got the technical know-how to run emulators on a PC, whether it's something like MAME or Technoparrot, and you're looking for a low-cost gun system in order to do that, then this might still be worthwhile for you. Again, are the guns perfect? No, but they are a cheaper alternative to things like a Gun for IR or Sinden. And with the add-on box that you can get, the USB box that you can definitely plug this into a PC and be ready to go. Again, depending on your level of technical knowledge. You could even skip buying the Pandora box altogether, just get the guns, get the kit for plugging them into a PC, and you'll be good to go. It makes it an even cheaper solution if that's the direction you want to go. That's something I intend to check out myself at some point, is hooking them up to a PC and seeing how they work. I did not do it for this video, but again, I just want to bring it out as something to consider if this is what you are looking for, if this is something you want to purchase. So bottom line is this: if you're looking for something plug and play, ready to go with no technical knowledge needed, this is not something you're going to want to pick up, at least not at this time. However, if you've got the technical knowledge to figure out how to source the games, to put them on, or to plug this into a PC and go from there, then it's still a decent, cheap alternative to look into. But there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Retro Shooter Kit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you own one? And if so, are you enjoying it? Did you pick it up when it was coming with games? Have you picked it up since they made the announcement that it's no longer coming with games? And are you looking to, get your own games on there, playing on PC, something like that? Leave me those comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Of course, you can also let me know what you thought of this video as well. And if you enjoyed the video, leave me a thumbs up. Of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that as well. But that's it for now. Again, I do hope you enjoyed it. However you play, enjoy your games, have a lot of fun, and I will see you next time. Take care.